Coming up on today's REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show.
I really didn't know what to do, and I thought my whole world was over. It was over. There was no need to keep going. And now I look back, on those 2 years, and I'm just quit. He let me take a pause for the cause, but he did not let me quit. He said, this is your destiny. Your destiny is to unlock the gifts inside of women who feel like they're forgotten.
Closer to my dreams.
She's the author of the highly sought-after GOALIE coaching system, who is passionate about helping seasoned entrepreneurs become unstuck in their thinking, abilities, and revenue. She's a coach, author, and speaker who has sharpened her ability to stretch the vision, mission, and goals of those strong enough to withstand the journey of entrepreneurship. As the founder and visionary of Collette Portis & Co., Collette Portis is a business coach with 20-plus years of experience helping clients think big, strategize for success, and increase revenue. Colette's mission is to change the lives of whole families because winning is the only option. This is the REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show.
Welcome to the REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio Show with Miss Collette Portis. Today, our special guest is the owner of Perfect Pitches by Precious. She is the killer pitch master, world-class master communicator, entrepreneur. Please help me welcome to the show, Miss Precious Williams. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm well. I'm very well today.
Right, and I love it. Yes, clap it up for yourself, because if you don't
Give it up.
I love it. So Precious is pretty amazing. If you don't already know, she has been speaking since she was 14, right?
16.
Speaking professionally, which is amazing. So I know about you, Precious. Tell my audience a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I am a little black girl from St. Louis, Missouri. I grew up with a mother who didn't love me. In my life, I was fighting for my life. My mother tried to kill me on November 18th, 1991.
Wow.
And I was then sent to live with my father, who, again, was a drug addict. So it was a very hard times to live. And so when I was 15 years old, my grandparents stepped in and they asked my father, could they raise me? And, I'm thinking they old, like, who wants to live with old people? One of the best decisions that I never made. Best decision I never made. Me up and twinkle my toes in the morning. I had fresh breakfast. I had a home-cooked meal for dinner. My grandmother drove me to and from school. I went in as a special education student, walked out as a valedictorian of my class. Wow. My grandmother saw something in me when I was 15. She saw that I was special, and she called me her golden child. And so for her, she woke me up with affirmations, especially, when somebody twinkles your toes, you're not in the hood. You're not really,
right.
It's not really the hood. And we would get in the mirror and she would tell me all these affirmations to say to myself. And, I went from feeling really low to being like, why does she believe that about me? Is it possible that it's true?
Right.
So before I knew it, the principal of my high school, Mr. Floyd Cruz, he started asking me to start speaking. And I never thought my first speaking engagement would be in front of the city of St. Louis, Mr. Freeman Bosley Jr. And then I was speaking to governors, and I was speaking on education reform. Right. Nobody cares about the education you're getting. Nobody cares about whether they mostly cared more about security than the education.
Absolutely.
And because I was blessed to come from the county, which I don't know in the city of New York, do they do something like that? It was very important to have someone who had a strong speaking voice and who had a presence. And then, I went on a full scholarship to Spelman College, graduated in 4 years with a degree in English, minor in art history, pre-law, full scholarship to Georgetown University, a law different day.
All right.
Started over at Rutgers School of Law in Newark, New Jersey, had a nervous breakdown in April 12, 2004.
Wow.
Managed to finish as the top student attorney in my entire law school. I finished December 15, 2006. I took the February 2007 bar, passed, and walked into my graduation already knowing I was going to be an attorney because I'd already done it all. I started off as a successful New York City-based attorney. I started my own law firm. And then after that, I started Curvy Girls Lingerie. And that was my claim to fame because I had to pitch in order to raise money for my company.
Yes.
And because I was that good, I'm a 13-time champion, 13-time national elevator pitch champion. And because of my skill set, that allowed me to be on Shark Tank. Yes, the show on ABC, Shark Tank, CNN, Wall Street Journal, MSNBC, ABC, movies, television shows from my childhood would have gotten me this far. And I live in New York City, and I've been here 11 years, and I am the hashtag killer pitch master, and I will hashtag slay all competition. There is nobody does it better. Nobody.
I love it. You know what's amazing, Precious?
What?
Is although you have a phenomenal story where you had to triumph through so many things and you passed the bar, that I say is in the business world as an entrepreneur, there are no elevators, there are only stairs. And it does not matter. Yes, and it does not matter what you come into this game with, you still have to take the stairs. You said something that was really significant. You talked about how your grandmother would wake you up with affirmations, and I don't know about you, but back in the day with my grandparents, that was not the norm.
No, it wasn't.
You talked a little about who you thought you were before you started the entrepreneurial journey. Who did you think you were?
I thought I was just an unwanted child, a burden, just nothing to be respected, just nobody in particular, a slug in a ditch. I didn't matter. That's what I thought. And I have to admit, as a woman of a certain age, those feelings will creep up. But I have a great support network that will remind me, hold up. That was your past life.
Absolutely.
You're loved today. You're loved.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to mention that although, we've got these accomplishments and acclaims and all of that stuff, that sometimes that old stuff still rises up. I believe the truth is we were who we are now the whole time. We just didn't know it. And we had to discover it. So tell me, what did you think this journey would be like when you came out of law and you decided, I'm going to start Curvy Girls, lingerie? What did you think the journey would be like?
I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be kind of cool. A little black girl from St. Louis killing the game. Really great business idea that no one had thought of before, not to the level that I had thought of. And I thought it would be like a fantastic, come along on a fantastic voyage. I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be full of awards, full of just, I'm going to cover Forbes magazine. I'm balling. I'm out of control. You read those magazines, and that's what you think entrepreneurship is. And then you learn the truth.
And the truth is?
The truth. Friendships, relationships, that you never can feel safe because we're in an age of technology. And just when you think you have it, that's when you realize you don't. Things move so much faster than you're absolutely prepared for. And that's the beauty, that's the gift, that's the curse. It's like that album by The Weeknd, the beauty behind the madness.
Yes, absolutely. And I agree with that one. But the beauty of it is, if you just keep going, you end up looking back and going, well, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was. I mean, it was tough. I won't discount that, but I made it through. So what next? And what now?
Yes.
So through all of that, through what you went through in your childhood, and then you made it, air quotes, because you became a lawyer, and you did, in our country, they say if you become a lawyer, a doctor, or an entertainer, like, you made it, you're in the upper echelon. So you be an entrepreneur. Then who did you discover that you were through that once you moved into that part of your journey?
I realized that it was always in me to be an entrepreneur. My personality is big, it's bold, it's like hot pink, it's like fire engine red. Yes. And that it can't be tamed in a 9 to 5. My personality is not suited to an office space. It's meant to be expansive. The way I think, I'm a trailblazer. I'm a visionary. And when you have something like that in you, just slay them. Until you finally slay them, they will laugh at you. They will make fun of you. And I just had that testicular fortitude that Farrakhan talks about, that testicular fortitude that I was like, you know what? I'm digging in my guns. If I see people who don't look anything like me, starting with being homeless yesterday and today being unicorns, I know I can do that. May take me a little bit more time, may take me a little bit more challenges, but I will make it.
Absolutely. We're talking to Precious Williams, the killer pitch master. And when we return, she's going to be talking about the day she quit. You're listening to REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio on tapthemikradio.com.
Closer to my dreams.
Who's your goalie? It's an acronym for grafting objectives around longevity and entrepreneurship. Here's founder Collette Portis.
What GOALIE does is it helps you to develop the foundation of your business. It helps you to solidify who you are in the market, what problem you resolve, your company resolves, and then how you do that for a customer. And that gives an entrepreneur or a business owner the confidence that is necessary to communicate who they are and what they do simply without turning around and giving you lots and lots of information that you then have to try and decipher, only to come out not knowing what problem this company resolves for you. And so what GOALIE does is it helps you to understand why your core values, your mission, your vision, your brief history of your company is important.
Order GOALIE by Collette Portis at Amazon.com or ColettePortis.com and let Collette Portis and Company, founder of the GOALIE movement, put you in scoring position with your future.
Take 10 for Boston's 10. Take Phil and Shannon to go.
Take live streaming breaking news.
Take 10 and get your news local and live.
Download the NBC 10 Boston app today. Boston's 10. News to go.
Chicago Med, Fire, and PD are all together on the same night. The city of heroes, united as one.
We answer this call together.
Chicago Wednesdays on NBC.
Tap the Mic Radio Network. We're on.
Hi, this is Gail Scott Key of Gail Scott Key's Entertainment Now and the brand new Tap the Mic Radio Network. This is a show where we showcase some of your favorite stars from the past, future, and now. So tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Tap the Mic Radio Network. We're on.
Welcome back to REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio on tapthemikradio.com. We're talking to the owner of Perfect Pitches by Precious, Ms. Precious Williams. So through your journey, we all have this. This is the stairs that you take. There comes that day, and there's oftentimes multiple days. This is for the birds. I am done. I'm not doing this anymore. Tell us about a day that you quit.
A day that I quit was when I had a severe health problem, and I was also a severe alcoholic behind it. I really didn't know what to do. And I thought my whole world was over. It was over. There was no need to keep going. And now I look back. I look back on those 2 years and I'm just quit. He let me take a pause for the cause, but he did not let me quit. He said, this is your destiny. Your destiny is to unlock the gifts inside of women who feel like they're forgotten, that they're lost, like they don't matter. They can see you and they can see your story and see that it is possible. And I'm not talking about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, but realizing that you have all the resources within you to make it happen. God equipped us with so much. And that testicular fortitude, that grit, that determination.
I love that. You said something that's important. You said pause and you said destiny. Talk to us a little about the combination of those two and why both of them are necessary.
Well, sometimes you do have to take a pause because you can be ripping and running, dipping and dapping and don't know what's happening. You can be so into your business and going through the trauma, drama, and stress that you don't even see all the blessings and the opportunities that are really right in front of you. So taking a pause, taking a break is necessary. And if it's meant for you to keep going, keep going. Like, I have to admit, I don't have the same challenges a lot of women have. I don't have children. I don't have a husband. So when I say I'm all in, I'm all in.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm all over it like a cheap suit. You know how cheap suits are? They're like, they cling to every roll. They cling to every crease. You know, I'm so all in. I'm like an NBA player. I'm all in the paint. You know, I'm like the fourth quarter quarterback. You give me the ball, I'm running. I like to think of all of these things like analogies. Like, you know, when you're playing in the Super Bowl and you're down, do you give up or do you reach even further inside? Take that moment and then just go all out. And I've been blessed to be able to go all out. I've been blessed that I have a support network that truly supports me because I finally let them in to see the real Precious. That I am just as human as anybody else. I cry like every other woman. I have my moments.
And you said something that I want to touch on a little bit, because as entrepreneurs, as women, female entrepreneurs who are doing amazing things, oftentimes we still have that heart to where we want to be married, we want to have kids. We don't pay attention to the fact that when you're in that space where you don't have either of those, it means you can, as my grandmother would say, run and trying to make 100 because 99 and a half wouldn't do. So talk about the blessing in that.
The blessing in not, you know, having so many things, and I don't want to call them holding me down or taping me down, but the blessing in being focused on what it is that I want, how I want to make it, how God leads me. And it doesn't have to be right for anybody else but me. Somebody saying, you know what? We got 4 kids. You got to get a job. Right. And I'm like, no, I don't. And I probably would say the same thing. No, I don't. This is the gift that God gave me, and he's going to give me the opportunities. But you know what? As God does his thing, let me go ahead and do my thug thizzle. Let me do my thug thizzle. I'm going hard. You know what I mean? And I just started dating again, and it's quite refreshing because I don't have to walk in with trying to be somebody when people already know who I am.
We're talking to the 13-time National Business Elevator Pitch Champion, Miss Precious Williams, today. And she is really giving us some amazing tools today. And Precious, how did you get to where you are? How did you even get here?
You know, I say that quite often because I'm trying to figure out how did 40 sneak up on me. I'm trying to figure it out. No, I got here because God didn't want me to die those 2 times that I was supposed to. Wow. I got here because my destiny was in being the phoenix that keeps rising. And that when everybody counts me out, God says, count me in. I got you. I got you. Depend on this. I got here because I have that no matter, listen, I've been homeless. I've eaten out of garbage cans. Listen, I've had holy clothes. I've had the worst happen and I'm still here. I don't look like what I've been through.
Yes.
And that is the greatest compliment. When people say to me, I grew up always being told I was ugly. I grew up always being told I was, you know, just like whatever. So when people say to me today, when they see my pictures or they see me in person, they're like, you're so pretty. And I'm like, who are they talking about? Oh, me. Oh, okay. And I'm like, wow, they really think that about me. And I'm like, you know, and they don't see that. And I thank God every day, thank you, that I don't look like what I've been through.
You mentioned, you know, about the scars, and sometimes it gets a little cliche when we say, I don't look like what I've been through. And I think it's important that we remember and recognize that. But tell me a little bit about why.
Because they help you know that just when you thought it was over, it was just a new beginning.
Yeah.
Just when you were ready to give up, it was always darkest before dawn. And if you thought you couldn't get through that and you're still standing today, you know, I'm not one of those people that says I'm not one of those people that says I have no regrets. There are some regrets that I have, right? Yeah. But the big things that I've gone through, those that were outside of me, I don't regret those. I regret some of the decisions I made that impacted me, but they're my regret because I didn't perpetrate them. But the things that happened to me, I'm grateful for, because when I tell you I have a strength that a lot of people don't have.
Yes.
To keep going and just to be like, you know what, thug it out. Let's thug it out. Let's thug it out.
Exactly.
You know, and I hate to put it to the level of gangs and stuff like that. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying when you're thugging it out, that means all in or all out. And all I know is all in.
Because the mentality is all in, blood out. The mentality is there's no halfway. There's only all the way. And I believe that same characteristic, that same belief system is what you need in order to be a successful entrepreneur. So there's something to be learned no matter where you are. And talking about going back to the scars, like they teach you, they teach you that your muscle and your character has been built to a certain level of tolerance. And so they're important. We're on REAL-Eyez Destiny Radio talking to Miss Precious Williams, the killer pitch master, and we are having a great time having a conversation about entrepreneurship and the journey of it and the roses as well as the thorns. So tell me what you know right now today for absolute sure.
I know that I am Precious Williams. I am a force to be reckoned with. I know for sure that women have their own superpower. And once we unite, we're truly unstoppable. And I know for sure that I was born for greatness, and to greatness I will go.
Can we pause for just a minute to talk to the ladies? Mm-hmm. You mentioned if we come together that we are an unstoppable force. I was talking to a guest and she was talking about the importance of having men who rally behind us and help us to move forward. But let's just talk a little bit about the importance of the women in your life that champion you, that are on this journey with you.
You know, when I had surgery on my rectum, usually I would just be quiet and silent. But something told me to put on social media that I'm hurting. And my sisters came. And when I say my sisters, that means all sisters, pink sisters, white sisters, Latin sisters, black sisters. We all came together. They all came together to support me, cook for me, treat me well. And when I got better, they were still like, you practicing that self-care? You taking care of yourself? Because they don't worry about me in business. They worry about and if I'm hurting emotionally, let them know so I don't wind up in a psych ward or I don't wind up with a bottle in my hand. You know what I mean? These are the type of women. My grandmother died absolutely 19 years ago today.
Wow.
19 years ago today she died. And so it's been an emotional day, but not in the sense that I'm grieving, but in a sense that she knew by telling me those affirmations and making me say them that they were gonna count in the time she wasn't gonna be here. That would be here when I fall on my face and I have people kicking things in my eye and beating me down, that sisterhood would sustain me. She knew that when she sent me to Spelman College, I was going to come out a woman, not a girl, but a woman.
Yes.
So that is what sisterhood is about. And that is what my sisters, I went to an event last night and we were masterminding, and it's not the normal masterminding, but it was so good that I didn't even want to leave. And y'all know I'm an old lady. I sleep by 9:30, 10 o'clock every night. I got home, it was 10:30. I was like, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to rock and roll.
What's amazing, I think, and you can tell me if this is the same for you. What's amazing for me on those days, because my grandmother was just as significant in my life and one of my aunts. And when that day comes that I'm remembering them or I had a dream about them or something like that, and initially before discovering my destiny, I might be sad. But now, you know, there's that inkling that I would be sad because I miss them, but right knowing that I'm honoring them by being who they always knew I was, even when I didn't know that. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty for the ashes. Regardless of how tough that day might be, that's the beauty behind it. Tell me, what's your greatest accomplishment thus far on your journey?
So celebrating the beauty, the magic of every day, whether it's sunny, whether it's cold, whether it's rainy, whether it's fall-like with beautiful leaves. Every day is truly a gift, and I'm above ground and I'm freaking alive. So every day is to be celebrated, and not in that cliche way. I'm talking about straight up for real. And you know, you may not see tomorrow how precious that day is. My greatest accomplishment is watching women soar to heights they never thought possible.
I love that. That I think is, the money and all of that it really is great, because I'm a firm believer that money answers all things. Right. But even above that is to see your work in someone else and see it propel them forward is just, it's phenomenal. It really is. So what's next for you? What are you up to?
Well, I'm flying to Nova Scotia. I'm flying to Nova Scotia to speak at the professional development pitches events coming up, and you're helping me put together one for Dallas, Texas. Yes. I have my hashtag booked and busy masterclass for speakers. I have brand new for new and emerging speakers, and I'm taking on some new initiatives